Okay guys, we're doing actual backing plates on a 2000 GMC 1500. Now there's a little more to it than just taking everything apart and putting backing plates on, because they actually attach from the other side. So the whole axles have to come out. So right now I've just got the two bolts taken off my caliper from the back side. And I'll just pry the whole thing off in one and then hang it up out of the way for now, like so. And we'll try and get this drum off. And we're also doing a full brake job, so I'm not worried about breaking anything. Alrighty guys, as you can tell, these brakes are done. Why people wait so long, I have no idea. But so here's the system. On the other side of the truck, it's actually upside down. I guess that way Chevy could use the same parts for either side maybe. But there's the self-adjuster down there, which can't be adjusted from the other side. So if you end up with some rust around the inside of the rotor, you're gonna have to beat it off. So anyway, okay, now that we got this system out, it's just a 10 mil bolt that holds this shoe on, and then you spread it apart from the self-adjuster. But I'm actually going to leave that on right now. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take the rear differential cover off, drain the fluid out of there, and it's basically like any other Chevy axle, to pull the axles out to get the backing plate off. So we'll get to undoing the first couple bottom bolts of the differential pan and let it drain out, because 80-90 oil stinks. So I'll show you that in a minute. Okay guys, we're taking off this differential cover here, and I don't know what size the nuts are, but up here in the rust belt, whatever size the nut is whatever size that you can actually hammer on. I just keep twisting a little bit right now. There we go. Right now I'm using a 12, so it might be a 12, could be a 13. Could have been a 13 at one time, but we don't know. Yeah, that's not gonna work. This one's got a lot of rust on it. Oh. This is the fun we have. There we go. Just spin it back in and beat our impact socket back off. So I'm going to continue doing this, and figure it'll take me a half an hour just to get the differential cover off. Okay guys, it's been about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, but I got all the bolts loose now, so now it's just a matter of, undo these 2 or 4 bottom bolts. Pull all these out, these 4 out. don't take it off all the way or it's gonna go everywhere. Okay, I'm just going to leave my screwdriver in there and we're going to wait a while for that to drain and then pull the rest of the cover right off. Okay guys, we're pretty much drained out now. Taking out all the bolts, and now I'm just going to break it loose from the silicone holding it. Get this stinky cover out of here. Alright. We'll give that a cleaning and maybe a trim clad paint job after. But you want to move the camera to here now? This side. Okay, so there's our differential. Now we have to put it neutral and spin the axle so we can get to the pin. So I'm going to do that now. Alright guys, so I've got the pin, or the bolt that holds the center pin in. Hopefully it's not broken, because you Chevy owners should know that this is usually broken and then it's a pain in the butt. Oh, look at that. It's not broke. So it's not going to be a pain in the butt to get out. Sweet. Okay guys, so now I've spun this so the pin comes down on a bottom angle, and in there is where you're going to find your C-clips. Sorry about the lighting. In there is where you're going to find your C-clips to pull the axle out. Now do you want to go over to the other side there and push that axle in? And you'll see the clip come available. No, that's okay. That's all it needs. And you just pull that C-clip out. So give me a second here and I'll pull it out. Okay guys, so I've got my axle pin out just on this side. Stuffed it with a rag so I wouldn't get any debris in there. And now I'm just taking, I've already undone this nut, but this holds the actual brake shoe on. So that's a clip that holds the brake shoe on. And so now it's just a matter of taking this out. So just give her a yank like so. There is an actual tool you use to compress that and expand it, but who cares? So I'm gonna end up spinning this back in all the way. So now I gotta take these 4 bolts off here and I'll be able to get this back and plate off. So I'm gonna buzz these off with an impact. Okay guys, so I've taken out the brake line holder. I've taken out the emergency brake spring here. Hopefully you can see that. There you go. So I got the e-brake spring here. Now I put 1 bolt back in just to hold everything together, so I'm going to buzz that back out. It's an 18 mil. So I'm going to buzz that back out and I shall be ready to come. Sweet. And also you notice, sorry about the light, you'll also notice I put black tape around the emergency brake piston, let's say, because this end kept falling out. So this is ready to come out. Nice. And now we can beat our backing plate off. So these are our new backing plates. They're both the exact same. Chevy saved a little bit of money, and using the same for both sides. One side the emergency brakes at the top, and the other side the emergency brakes at the bottom. So now I'm going to go ahead and start scraping and beating this backing plate off. And that was pretty simple. Just give it a few whacks with a hammer in behind, the whole thing come off. So we're going to put the new one on while I'll clean this up, a little bit of the rust. Oop. Clean that little bit off, put the new one on. Okay, so while I'm at it, I took the one end of the parking brake out, and I goobed the crap out of it with some lubricant, and we're gonna slap her back together. Okay guys, so I got the other side off now, and I find it easier trying to get the spring off. Like, you can pull this lever right out because it's being replaced with the backing plate, but pull that right out and it's easier to get off the spring. And with this whole unit being on the ground, it's easier to get the spring out of here. So I'm going to take the emergency brake spring out of there and get back to rebuilding this. Okay guys, we got her back together. Got our pins put back in the differential. Cleaned up the differential. Now we're just cleaning up the plate here, the diff cover, and I'm actually really impressed with this Zep brake cleaner. So you guys in the States, we don't get it up here in Canada, but you guys in the States might want to look into this stuff. Really good. A lot better than stuff I've been using. Alrighty. Alright, just leave it there because I got to clean it up with the brake cleaner. Alrighty, so we got to get our new rotors put on. And problem I had was I got all the new hardware in there. Let me get some light, maybe. A little bit better. So a problem I had is the clip, that nut there was actually missing, and the rust kind of stripped it a bit. So I filled it up with Loctite, and I'm going to wait till it dries, and that way there's no chance it's going to back out. But she's all together. I still have to do the e-brake on this side, connect that, but I don't want to touch the e-brake until that's dry. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting the diff cover back on and filling it up with fluid, and we'll be good to go. And you'll probably notice I already done a leaf spring on this truck a couple weeks ago, and gave my landlord the bad news, and he needs another one for this side because it's cracked. It's broken, but it's a work truck, and we're gonna make her new again, and he should be good for a few years. Good stuff. I've already done water pump, alternator, sway bar linkage, front brakes and rotors, caliper, now doing the whole rear end. So this truck should last them quite a while. Cheers guys. Alrighty guys, so we got her all back together. Differential covers on, we got the differential fluid put in. Now I'm just doing this brake side. Beauty. Them AC Delco coated rims are really nice. I'm not too impressed with their pads, but to be expected. But yeah, she's all ready to put the tire on this side. So the other side I still have the emergency brake cable, because that Loctite should be pretty much hardened now. So I'll put that back on, put the rotor on, put the pads on, the caliper, and the wheels, and shoot this one out the door. But I still have a leaf spring to do. Got a broken leaf spring, so that'll be back. Bah! Cheers, guys. Like I was saying, I wasn't too impressed with the pads. I'm big on brakes, okay? I like them done proper, and I like them working well, okay? So I love AC Delco because, you know, you get new hardware and everything else. But the problem is, over time, the stamp that stamps out this metal here start to wear down, and the edges here, hopefully this focus is okay, but the edges here always end up a little wider than it should be. You can see in the center there that raised part, and that's from a bad stamping. So when you're putting the new hardware on, and you know, you're cleaning up the caliper housing and everything like that, when you put the new hardware on, this should actually slide really nice and easy after you grease it. Can't forget your brake grease, but it should sit nice and flush in there. But as you can tell, it's not. So I end up having to grind it all down so it doesn't bind in there, because when it binds, the problem is, I'll show you, where's the brake pad? When it binds, that's what you end up with, because it doesn't compress back. Like your piston pushes it in and then it'll slowly work its way back. But the problem is, if it's tight in there, the last person who did the brakes on the rear here didn't make sure that these were ground down and smooth, and it freely moved back and forth. It just moves forward, the piston retracts, the brake pad doesn't, pushes forward, brake pad or the piston retracts, the brake doesn't. So this is what you end up with. Sorry about that, ran out of space. But as I was saying, you know, you flat rate guys who are doing brakes don't really have the time to grind these down to make it proper. But, well, hopefully you guys do. But you can even tell on this one, it doesn't focus very good, but you see that little lip hanging up? That's going to get caught and bind and cause it not to slide back and forth proper. But yep, so I'm actually going to email AC Delco and tell them to retool their dies, because like this is getting ridiculous. I expect this from cheaper pads, but not from AC Delco. Alright, cheers guys.